Dramatic and entertaining win over Bournemouth at Anfield last Friday, but it was a victory which has come at a cost to Arne Slot's options at right back. Vinny O'Connor has the story.
The positive is that Liverpool do have options at right back. Conor Bradley is on his way back to full fitness, as is Joe Gomez, albeit Liverpool are being pretty careful with the way they manage Joe Gomez's return after the injury problems that he's had. Also, if neither Joe Gomez or Conor Bradley are ready to face Newcastle, then obviously Endo can operate as a right back. The disappointment is that Jeremy Frimpong is facing a spell on the sidelines, just one game into his Premier League career. That was after he came off against Bournemouth with a bit of an injury. That will now see him miss the games against Newcastle and against Arsenal.
Yeah, these things happen in a season. We only have at the moment 2 injuries. Unfortunately, it's 2 for the same position. But the good thing is that some other player can play in that position as well. Wata played in that position for a few minutes. Dominic Szoboszlai already played in that position. So there are other options we can explore. Joe Gomez is definitely one of them, but for him to already play 20 minutes, that was already quite a lot. I wouldn't say he had a setback, but he wasn't able to train 3 days in a row completely with the team. Which is completely normal if you're out for so long and all of a sudden the manager needs you for 20 minutes. But he's training with the team, so let's see where he is on Monday, if he can be involved in the team or if he can even start. But there are other options we have as well in this position. It's just, you cannot prepare for 2 injuries in one position. It would be stupid for us to have 3 fullbacks or 5 left backs, although we have 3 left backs at the moment. So we're unlucky that the right fullbacks are injured. Yeah.
As entertaining as Liverpool's opening day victory over Bournemouth was, they did face some criticism for being a little bit too open at times. That's criticism that Arne Slot goes along with as well. He would certainly like to see a return to the defensive solidity that we saw for much of last season. And one of the key factors in that returning could be Ryan Gravenberch back after suspension. He, of course, missed the victory over Bournemouth. But the expectation now is that he will start against Newcastle.
Yeah, interesting news conference today from Arne Slot there. Options at right back. He's bemoaning a little bit the injury issues that they've got. They've signed a lot of players. It just seems that all the right backs at the moment are struggling with injury.
Yeah, and he's right what he says. You're not going to have 5 right backs. He's just bang out of luck. Yeah, you worry for him with them 2 games coming up because the way they play, they let Salah stay up top, not really have to track back, and now with Barnes probably playing out there, and then all of a sudden you might have an Eze or a Martinelli the week after. It's going to be awkward. So they'll have to get through with the next 2 games, and that gives the other 2 teams a chance. Yeah,
lots to think about for Arne Slot there. Most we've got to talk to you about Alexander Isak because it's been an explosive week. We know of Liverpool's interest in the player. They've already had one official bid turned down, but haven't returned with another offer now for Alexander Isak. He's put a statement out on social media this week talking about Newcastle reneging on promises. Then we had the counter statement from Newcastle United. What have you made of the whole saga, particularly this week?
It won't be the first time. It ain't the first time. It won't be the last time. And it will happen again next season with a player, whoever that may be. Yeah, it's just gone too far. Sometimes the agents get... I don't know if the agents are getting involved and feeding him because... At the end of the day, he's the one who's got to face up, not the agents. He's got to face up. I'd have been absolutely shocked. I might be wrong here. If he sat indoors and he's got on his phone on Instagram or X, whatever it's called, and done that statement, fair play to him. Fair play to come up with them words and to come up with that lovely letter. But at the same time, you're talking about Newcastle. I know he's saying things have they all got promises, things have changed. When Newcastle probably said that, they probably thought they would be out the top 5 and not in European football, and they probably would have to sell him. That's all changed. He signed a 3-year contract. He gets good money. He's playing in front of some of the best fans in the world of football. He was a legend, and he's losing that very, very quickly at Newcastle.
And as the days and weeks now progress towards the end of the transfer window, Newcastle in their statement said, we're a family club. Alexander Isak's still part of that family and he will be welcomed back if and when he decides to return. So can you see him playing for Newcastle again? I
don't know. That's why I don't think Liverpool put in another bid. There's no need for Liverpool to go up another 20, 30 million pound. I think it's all been set now. You know, it'll be, he ain't going to, if he refuses to play, you know, he ain't going to not be able to pay his mortgage, is he? Let's be honest. So this needs to come to an end. But where do you stop? Otherwise, every player just goes, you know, sign a 4-year contract, 3-year car, I want to leave. And that's what happens. It's a shame. I'm a big fan of Isak. I am a real big fan. I think it could have been dealt with better, but at the same time, he's probably went into panic mode when Sesko went to Manchester United, and I think that's when panic set in. I think when it was going along all nicely, and then all of a sudden he went United, and I think he's gone into overdrive, and he's really, really tried to push this now. But I've never heard him say, you know, before I never heard him say that he didn't want to play for Newcastle, but this needs to be sorted.
You can't see him sitting out a year of his career, though, can you? And not playing?
I don't know. I don't know how much it's going to hurt him if he don't get this move. I don't know. I don't know how much it's going to affect him. He's dug his heels in at the moment. He'll have to get them out. They're in a lot of mud at the moment, and he'll have to get them out. I don't know. You know, you've got to please them fans because they've been very let down, if I'm being honest.
From Liverpool's point of view, they got the victory on the opening night, on the Friday night football. It was an entertaining game. Would you have concerns about their defensive stability?
Well, I was at the Community Shield the week before and I was worried for him defensively. I think with Frimpong, he does like bombing forward. Salah's going to stay up the pitch. That's where you want him. You want him further up the pitch. And he likes to attack as well, and there's always going to be that space down there, right, the opposition's left. And I worry for Liverpool down there. You know, when you said Frimpong was injured, I thought if Bradley's fit, it's probably the right move for them in the next 2 games against teams that have got ammunition down that side of the pitch. But, you know, Bradley ain't fit yet. Gomez needs to be looked after. He's had a few injuries in his career, so you've got to make sure he's right. It's only fair for the lad. So it'll be interesting. You know, that's where I think you can hurt Liverpool. Anywhere else, I'm not too sure.
And Ugo Ekitike started the season fantastically well. It's almost taken a little bit of the heat away from the Isak situation because he started so well. Can he continue that?
I think so. I think he's a good footballer. I like him. I've watched him. You know, I watched him at the Community Shield. His nice touches. He makes the right decisions. And then when he goes and plays against Bournemouth, gets a bit lucky with his trying to nutmeg the centre half, but it comes back to him and, you know, side foot, lovely. And then the second goal is the one I like, that he sets up for Gakpo, makes a little darting run and he stays in the box. You know, a lot of players want to run out the box with the ball and then, you know, the defender holds the cards. He stays in the box, just plays a nice little ball. For me, that's intelligent football. And
it's a fixture, Newcastle against Liverpool. We've had so many classics down the years as well. And it's great to see Newcastle in particular, from where they've come from over the last few years, really, you know, reigniting themselves in the Premier League, because it's a fixture that's been brilliant down the years. It's great to see 2 teams at the top of the league going for it.
Oh, very much. Really looking forward to it. You know, I thought Newcastle were outstanding the other day at Villa Park. Just didn't get the goal that they needed. I think, you know, I don't want to rub it in, but if Isak plays, they win that game, and it would have been a big 3 points against Villa. But yeah, this will be entertaining. Liverpool will have a go, and Newcastle will have a go.
Yeah, entertaining. Definitely worth watching. So many great